Hi everyone, you're all very welcome to this Flipdish webinar. I hope you can hear me okay. My name is Claire. Today we are talking about how to pivot your business, and we'll share some marketing tactics on how to survive and thrive during COVID-19. You're all very welcome. So I'll just run through the agenda. We've broken it down into some bite-sized pieces for all of you so that you will hopefully stick around. We've got some great content to share. We will start with some just quick intro and some data and trends on the industry based on what we know. We will cover how to pivot your business model. We'll be in conversation with a couple of our customers from around the world. We're delighted to have them, and I'll share more about who they are in just a moment. We will share some practical marketing tactics for you and what you can do next. We'll finish up with a live Q&A where you have the opportunity to ask us some questions. Your hosts today are myself, Claire Sweeney, Grace Coughlin, Heather Thompson, and John DiLoretto. We're all part of the Flipdish team. And our customer co-hosts, who we're delighted to have with us today, are Aaron Clay, Marketing Director of Amy's Ice Creams over in the US, and Debbie Riley, owner of McMonagle's in Scotland. Welcome, guys. We're delighted to have you with us. Some very quick housekeeping. You can sit back and relax. We will share the full presentation with you afterwards, so no need to quickly scribble any notes. Just make sure you're joining from a desktop so that you can see the screen that I'm sharing. And as I mentioned, you can submit questions in the Q&A. So just a very quick intro to who Flipdish are in case you're not familiar. We are a global technology business offering white label digital ordering and marketing solutions to the restaurant and hospitality industry. We have more than 2,000 customers across 14 countries, and we employ 100 staff. We're a very multicultural team. We have people from as far afield as Trinidad and Tobago, Panama, the Netherlands, and lots of people in Europe, France, Germany, the UK, Spain, and obviously the US too. And we are headquartered in Dublin with staff throughout various locations around the world, including Barcelona, Berlin, New York, London, Paris, and even Argentina. As I mentioned, our products are white label online ordering websites and apps. We also offer a managed marketing service that allows our customers to become more visible in the search engines. And we have a self-service kiosk product. This is a little snapshot of our people. And this is just a snapshot of a handful of our customers. So let's get down to business. What is a pivot? The term pivot effectively means making a fundamental shift in your business model to bring you closer to product market fit. So this could be something like changing your target customer segment, your distribution channels, your marketing strategy, your pricing model, or indeed the very nature of your solution. So much like in basketball, this means essentially keep one foot planted firmly on the ground while shifting the other foot. What does it mean for a hospitality business? As we all know, unfortunately, restaurants have been forced to close their dine-in service over recent weeks due to COVID-19. And many who have never done it before are now pivoting to a completely takeout and delivery only service. Hotels are also looking for ways to keep their business viable during this crisis and are looking at potentially offering food delivery to their local community. One of our customers, Sprout, has become what is normally a dine-in and takeaway service. They've also added to their offering now a farm shop veggie box, which customers can order online and have delivered to their home. There are a few companies out there who have done some very famous pivots and become very successful companies. So I just wanted to highlight some of these with you. I'm not sure how many of you have heard of a company called Odeo. So Twitter, in fact, began life as Odeo, a podcasting platform. That was, of course, until Apple virtually consumed that entire market with iTunes, and the rest, as they say, is history. PayPal pivoted several times, in fact, at least 5 times before it became worth 67 billion today. Flipdish did not, in fact, start out how it is today. Flipdish, when it was founded in 2015 by brothers Connor and James McCarthy, began life as a marketplace. But very quickly, Connor and James realized that this was not what the market wanted or needed, and they pivoted the business model to white label online ordering solutions for restaurants and hospitality. And of course, there's these stories about what happens potentially if you don't pivot. So one of the most famous companies that failed to pivot, of course, is Blockbuster Video. So Blockbuster Video had 50 million members worldwide at one point, but it was its failure to adapt its business back in 2013 that led to its demise. And we all know, of course, how that story ended. So I'm just moving on now to some data and trends from what we know across our customers. We would like to welcome some of the new customers that have joined Flipdish, and this is a fantastic indication of the number of businesses out there that are looking at ways that they can pivot their business models. So the number of new restaurants signing up to Flipdish, or indeed restaurants and other types of hospitality businesses, it's up 60% in March and April compared with February. So we're delighted to see lots of companies figuring out how they can pivot. We all know that a lot of restaurants have closed completely during this time, but the good news is many are reopening. So in Ireland, the way it looks at the moment across our customers is that we are 29% down in terms of open customers at the moment. In the UK, that's 27%, and in Spain, as we know, which has been hit very hard, it's down 52%. But as we say, the decline in the UK and Ireland and Spain has stopped this week, and many customers are starting to reopen, which is fantastic to see. And of course, we'd just like to welcome back anyone who is reopening their doors. Quick sales snapshot. So average online order value of customers has increased by 36%. We attribute this largely, I suppose, to the fact that there's more people at home ordering together. So a lot of restaurants are looking at offering family meal deals, that kind of thing. So there's groups of people ordering food in a way that perhaps is not normally the case. Orders placed by card is still steady at around 86%, so up from 62% when this whole thing began a few weeks back, and it's sitting at around 86% over the last couple of weeks. And a little snapshot of who's eating what during COVID-19. So in Ireland, we see Chinese food has increased by 83%, chipper up by 68%. But of course, all the different cuisine types are seeing some strong sales growth. In the UK, a similar kind of story. So Chinese plus 223%, and Indian following closely behind at up 203%. One of our newest customers is a gentleman by the name of Mark McGowan. Mark owns Scholarstown House in Ireland, and he's president of the Restaurant Association of Ireland. This is a completely new venture for him. He's never done takeaway before, he says. He has a full kitchen. He wants to do what he can to keep any kind of his staff in jobs. And he also wants to keep his brand in good shape for when this is all over. He also says that he sees this as a long-term shift in cultural trends towards people becoming more comfortable at eating at home and ordering online. And I'm going to hand over now to my colleague, Heather Thompson, Global Head of Customer Success at Flipdish.
Thanks, Claire. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how you can actually pivot your hospitality business. And I really wanted to focus in on kind of the top 3 tips from what we're seeing. So first and foremost, it's to get online. So this could look like, if perhaps you haven't been online before, and this is really about giving yourself an opportunity to get online, accept online orders, and manage your online presence. In terms of the practicalities of how you could do that, perhaps you already have a website already, and it's just a matter of actually adding in an online ordering system to it. If you've never been online before, you could look to partner with a company like Flipdish, and we'll be able to create your own customized website or app so you can actually accept online orders as well. Once you have your website and your online ordering all up and running, then it's really important to link that to any of your social media sites. That will help your customers to find your new website and find your new online ordering platform. We know at the moment that online is probably the best, the safest, and maybe the only way that your customers can actually order from you right now. When you think about your website, it's really thinking about it being like your online shop front, and the online ordering piece is the door that allows your customers in to enter and to actually buy from you. The second way to pivot is really to look at what you're actually offering. So we kind of talk about now is not the time to do what you've always done. Things are changing very rapidly. How we eat is changing, who we're eating with, and where we're eating. So it's really important that your business is evolving with that as well. So probably the biggest trend that we're seeing is around delivery. So with people like cocooning and self-isolating, they're not actually able to get out. So being able to deliver to those people is probably the only way they're actually going to be able to sample your wares. We're also seeing, if you don't currently offer delivery, it's not as difficult as you might think. And we do have delivery partners that we can help you out with. Or we're seeing customers even reassign some of their in-store staff who normally would have been taking walk-in orders and actually making them delivery drivers as well. The other important piece is to be really relevant, to really have your finger on the pulse in terms of what's happening. And an important way to do that is to kind of look at the trends that are out there. So a really simple example would be the weekend just gone by would have been Easter. So everyone was enjoying some sweet treats and some chocolates. So for some of our bakery customers, we saw them offer Pacific Easter treat box and be very successful with it. One customer alone got 60 orders within their first hour of putting that product on their online menu. Another trend we're seeing with our butcher customers is that the Sunday roast is making a comeback. So we're now at home, we have more time to cook and the whole family is together. So really having your finger on the pulse of the trends will help you to figure how you can configure and change your offering. And lastly then is looking at spreading the word. So it's not a case of build it and they shall come. You absolutely need to let people know that you now have this wonderful website and through that they can order online from you. Probably one of the most overlooked ways of doing this is to tell your staff to tell your customers. So when you think about it, this is free to do that. You spend time with your staff so you can train them on what to say. And your staff have the trust of your customers. You know, these are people that they interact with really frequently. Often they'll have good conversations. They'll know your loyal and regular customers. So a recommendation from your staff to order online to your customer is going to mean a lot. Another way is to get the word out there through email and SMS blasts. So a lot of you guys maybe already have a reservation tool from the restaurant. So you may have a list of opted in people for email marketing through that. Perhaps you've ran an in-store customer loyalty program before in your cafe, and you may have opted in people from that. Or even from your point of sale or till system, you may have a list of numbers of people who ordered with you maybe in store or on the phone. And again, if they're opted in with the correct data protection laws, then again, you could reach out to them to try to target them. So in terms of pivoting, it's really important is to get online, change your offering and spread the word. I'm now going to hand it over to John Loretto, our president of Flipdish US, and he's going to bring us through a real life pivots from some of our customers.
Terrific. Thank you, Heather, very much. Great. So I'm welcome to be joining with Aaron Clay as well as Debbie Riley. Debbie Riley is the owner of McMonagle's in Glasgow, Scotland, and Aaron Clay is the marketing director of Amy's Ice Creams in Austin, Texas, in the United States. So thank you all for being here today with us, and particularly during this most unusual time. I know that both Aaron and Debbie are busier than ever, so really a heartfelt thank you from our team for you offering up some of your time to help others in our community and to really offer some inspiration to other restaurants out there. So just to start, I'd love for each of you to just give us a brief introduction to your restaurant and tell us what makes your restaurant unique. So Debbie, would you like to start?
Hi from Scotland. So we usually are a fish and chip boat. So we're shaped like a ship. We do takeaway, deliveries, restaurant, and we also have a sail through. So because we are a boat, and we sit on the water, ships and boats and little dinghies can come along the water and order like a drive-through. They can do it as a sail-through, so they do it on the boat, so without the cars, on the boat. So that for us gives us the kind of edge as opposed to just a chippy. We are a fish and chip restaurant takeaway, but then we have that added extra sail-through as well.
Okay, terrific. And how about you, Aaron?
Yeah, I'm from Austin, Texas, in the United States. I'm with Amy's Ice Creams, and we're known for being the Benihana of ice cream. So if you search YouTube or if you search, Twitter or TikTok, which we're just releasing today, you will see us do things with ice cream that you normally wouldn't see. So we sell super premium ice cream, and it's absolutely delicious. Everybody falls in love with it, and our most popular flavor is Mexican vanilla. Well, not only do we take your ice cream, we add cookies and candies and all sorts of fun stuff like that. And then we mix it together, and then we throw it, or we juggle it, or we toss it to you. And we try to have a lot of fun. when you come to Amy's, you don't come to Amy's because you're just in the mood for ice cream. You come to Amy's because you want an experience and you want something like you've never seen before. We were featured on The View with Whoopi Goldberg and as one of the top 5 ice cream companies. And we absolutely enjoyed celebrating with our fans. We love being a part of the community. And, you know, we've been around for 34 years and we make about $11 million in sales. We have 15 locations, a total of 17 revenue generating departments. And now we have curbside and delivery.
That's great. So thank you, Aaron and Debbie. I mean, I think, you know, as our viewers can hear, both of you have very experiential businesses where people think about your brands because of their experiences, interactions with you and your staff in store. You know, as you heard from Debbie, their restaurant is actually a giant boat that people can go on and get from fantastic views of the water, and they can also drive up directly with their boat to be served. And as you heard from Aaron, you know, their Amy's ice cream experience is all about, you know, that interaction with their Scoops employees when you come inside. And so for both of these brands, you know, they've obviously seen this impact kind of changing the way that their normal business goes about. So Debbie, when did you start to feel the effects of COVID-19 in Glasgow?
Well, for us, it was the day they went on lockdown. So we had to shut our restaurant completely.
Okay.
So there was no way around it. All restaurants had to shut their doors. We were very lucky that we still do the takeaway and the deliveries as well. So that's when we felt this is really serious. This is really crazy.
And how about you, Aaron? Just in the past few weeks, when did you first start to feel the effects?
March 17th, 2020. Basically, that's when lockdown happened. We started to notice people, specifically our employees, get a little nervous about the health environment. And we had already started ramping up sanitation and cleaning. And then the 17th, the lockdown came. And then we pivoted very fast and changed a lot.
Okay. So I think, you know, what we've seen is that the impacts of COVID-19 started in Europe, and then, you know, about a week or two later, the same impact started to be felt in the US. And so we were actually able to learn quite a bit from some of our customers who've had to deal with this sooner than later. So, you know, as these impacts started to hit your business, Aaron, how did you first sort of adapt to kind of mitigate the impact of COVID-19 on your stores? What were sort of the first steps that Amy's took to sort of deal with the changes to your business?
Yeah, we were in a very fortunate position because we had already been working with Flipdish to start online ordering because we knew that customer trends in general were moving to online ordering. When you come to Amy's, your minimum wait time is 12 minutes to get an ice cream because you're standing in line, people are talking, it's fun, but at the same time, a lot of people don't want to wait. They just want their ice cream and they want to go. So we were already focusing on online ordering. Well, thankfully, with all the features that Flipdish had, we were able to turn that around and then take for example, our catering department, who completely lost bookings for the entire year because nobody wanted to plan anything for the entire year anymore. And they do big events. We turned them into a delivery department. And we have the vehicles, we have the insurance, we have the drivers, and now we have the app. And so it was in March 17th, lockdown happened. March 19th was the first delivery. So we were able to turn it around, get a menu going very, very fast. And so we were able to use that. And then with our Scoops, a lot of Scoops, what we call our employees, and our Scoops working in the stores, a lot of them, you know, are under the age of 21 and their parents were pulling them out of the stores. And so then we had to go and reduce our capacity, but thankfully, because the dining rooms were closed, that capacity wasn't diminished too hard when it came to taking orders and doing online ordering. And you know, we have our third-party delivery service as well, like Uber Eats, DoorDash, Favor, things like that, that we saw a lot of. And what we were trying to do then at that point was, let's pivot away from those guys because I'm not sure what it is internationally, but it takes 30% out of our total sales to do those delivery services. And Flipdish is not even close to that expensive. And so we were able to keep more money in our local economy, which is really, you know, communicating that to our customers has really helped them transition from a third-party app into our own.
That's great. Okay, and we're going to talk a little bit more about customer communication in just a minute. So, Debbie, for you, what were some of the first changes that you made to your business in order to sort of pivot during this time?
So again, we were like Amy's ice cream. We already were with Flipdish. So we were lucky enough to already have the sort of online ordering and the deliveries on the go as well. But we found that the day after lockdown hit Britain, our online delivery orders and collections just shot up massively because everyone's now stuck in and they can't go anywhere. So for us, it was a case of we had to pull in more drivers, and then we had to set up different areas that only focused on collections and then deliveries. We had one area just for deliveries. Now we had to get more staff in to do 2 and then 3 areas because we just couldn't cope with the orders coming in. We then found that a lot of our staff either had underlying health issues or perhaps had no childcare anymore. So we lost some of our staff. This meant that we only have around 45 to 50 staff. So when we lost a lot of them, it was a big hit for us. So what we did is we shortened our opening hours. It's supposed to be 10 o'clock in the morning till 11 at night. We shortened it till 12 till 9. That way we advertise on social media and everything like that, shorter hours, get your orders in, and then we try and serve as many customers as possible. We didn't want to stay open as long because it was the same handful of staff that were having to work all the hours, and it was too much. Some of our girls in the takeaway are like 19, 20, 21, and they're working long hours every day. So we thought shorten it down, get them home at a decent hour, and then get them a bit of a long lie in the morning. And we found that as we shortened the hours, those with childcare problems were then able to sort that out and then come back to us again as well. And the takeaway area, it's a small takeaway area for a big ship. So we now only allow 3 people, customers, maximum in our takeaway area. So what we had to do, it's a bit like all the big supermarkets, like Asda and Tesco's and everything, they all have to kind of line up outside 2 meters apart. So we've had queues, you know, going on for absolute ages, all the way around the ship, all the way down to the car park, just crazy, because we can only let 3 people in at any one time.
Sure. How about you, Aaron? Have you put different restrictions about how close people can get or how to get their ice cream?
Yeah, we started doing a lot of stuff very similar to what Debbie's doing. So 6 feet here, 2 meters. So we started doing that. We post signs everywhere. We're trying to really push people to curbside, something, you know, that is maybe an American problem, I'm not sure, but no one wants to be told what to do. So we're having to retrain customers daily to say, no, 6 feet and stand over here. We also installed splash guards and things like that, plexiglass to help with that. Everyone's gotten gloves, masks, and things like that. And then we're going to start installing actual placards on the ground to show people where to stand and how far to stand apart and things like that. And we're really trying to move them to curbside. We're actually going to be releasing a bunch of curbside signage in the next couple of days. So instead of having 1 spot, we're going to have up to 8 spots so customers can wait. One of our locations sees about 8 to 12 customers every 30 minutes, and we need to spread them out. So we're going to start taking over our parking lots and doing that to keep people away.
That's great. So 2 interesting takeaways. So Aaron, you first mentioned that you had a full-blown catering department that all of a sudden, you know, was out of a lot of work because, you know, parties and celebrations kind of being put on hold. So it sounds like you were able to pivot that entire department into a delivery team. That sounds like a great idea of how to repurpose resources. Debbie, I thought you brought up a really interesting point about shortening your hours as a way to one, kind of protect your employees and make sure that they had more time to take care of their family or their loved ones. And 2, just allow your team to be more efficient and to hopefully give you know, everyone at McMonagle some more rest during this kind of hectic time. So I think both of those are really terrific suggestions for all businesses to look into, and how you can, 1, kind of repurpose existing resources, and 2, how you can kind of shift a little bit of your existing business operations to kind of help take care of your staff and to, better manage demand. That's terrific. So, the next thing I wanted to just ask you both about was, how have you kind of gotten the word out? So both of you obviously have made a lot of different changes. I think, shifting to pretty much a pickup only or collect only or curbside pickup or delivery is a new change for your customers who are used to coming and dining in with both of you. How have you kind of gotten the word out to let your customers know that, hey, we're open for business, we're here to serve you, and we'd love to serve you, but we need to do it a little bit differently during this time? Debbie, would you like to start?
Hi, yeah, so the biggest thing we use is social media. It's the fastest and most efficient way, I think, to reach all your regular customers. We've got a big Facebook following, so everyone that comes here are usually on our Facebook page anyway, so putting that up, we are still open. Again, like you were saying before, asking your staff. Get your staff to talk to their friends and family and put on their social media pages as well, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, whatever. Just constantly putting out there on social media that we are open, and then just walking by the ship. It's a big ship, so big sign saying we are open, collection and delivery only.
How often do you think you post on social media? Is it once a day, once a week? Just a rough time frame.
The general normally once a day.
Okay.
Now we're kind of slowing down because we're too busy.
Okay.
Stop ordering. Don't stop ordering. But no, it is very busy. Sometimes Easter weekend there, Good Friday. I don't know if you all celebrate Good Friday, but it's a big fish and chip day. Everyone has fish on Good Friday. So it's huge for us. We've got so many new customers in on Flipdish, our website, walking by. So many new ones that are now continuing to order. So once a day normally, but not this week.
Okay. How about you, Aaron? How about for the Amy's team? What's sort of been your strategy in terms of informing your customers about your new changes, and how often are you using social media?
Yeah, I'm going to say, yeah, Debbie hit it right on the head. It's social media is a great first way to do it. I'm not sure what it is for international customers, but on Facebook, we have a lot of local groups. We've joined about 12 to 15 groups on Facebook that have just been created to support restaurants in Austin, Houston, San Antonio, where we have locations. And we go in there, we don't just, they'll have no advertising rules. So we go in there, and every time somebody says, I went to Amy's, Amy Simmons, the founder, gets on, a couple of our managers get on, myself and my interns get on. We all like that comment. And then we post thank yous, heartfelt, like you really mean a lot to us type of thing from every single one of us. And then what we'll do is we'll give at the end of that a 20% first order discount, which is already built in to Flipdish. And so that encourages more people to get on that, because we're not a primary meal type of organization. So we are the dessert at the end, or in our case, the very first thing you do. And the idea is that we wanted to get on top of, in people's minds as much as possible. I can tell you in Texas, margaritas to go are really big. So we want to be just as frequent as a margarita. Besides Facebook, of course, we do Instagram, Twitter, our TikTok. Our TikTok's not really talking about how we're open. We're doing a lot of more of a PSA type of how fun we are type of thing, but then people can see our scoops are working and making ice cream. And then we have an email list of about 150,000 people. I know it's a small list, but so we email them once a month. We try not to do it too much. And then Flipdish also provided, the managed marketing section provided us with flyers that go on all of our third-party and call-in orders, so that we can get them using the app and the website to make orders, which is really great. Again, because when we talk about why you should use our app or website over Uber Eats or DoorDash or any of the third-party delivery services, is that money stays in Austin. It doesn't go out to California or wherever those places happen to send that 30% of our total sale bill to. So that's another thing that we're doing. And of course, we also put out banners out front of our stores, just like Debbie did, say, now open, delivery and curbside, and here's the website to go and order. We put posters out that have a QR code that go to the website. the website has this built-in feature where it automatically kicks you to a smartphone app, either on Android or iOS. And that's getting a lot of people using those apps, which is great, because then what we're looking forward to working with the Flipdish managed marketing team is push notifications, which I cannot wait to use. So that's sort of what we're doing in a nutshell.
And, you know, Aaron, there's one thing I wanted to ask you about, because I thought it was really unique and something that I think is a great idea for any business that can do this. I noticed from your Instagram account that each time you were doing a delivery, particularly I think it was of cakes and things of that nature, you were writing, it looked like a handwritten note or special note to your customers. Could you tell the audience a little bit about the specific note that you wrote, and what the purpose behind it?
Absolutely. So again, when you think of Amy's, you think of this experience. So then we've been racking our brains saying, how can we bring that physical experience with a delivery or with a curbside order with hardly any personal interaction? And one of the ways we've decided to do that is with your birthday cakes. If you say it's for a birthday, we will provide a birthday card saying thank you and happy birthday to that person. And everyone loves that. It's, you know, a nice little touch. With every single delivery, we also write a message to every single one that says, thank you for supporting, you know, Amy's, thank you for supporting local. This really means a lot to us. And customers are showing that on their stories. If you follow Amy's Ice Creams on Instagram, you can follow our stories. We also put a link in almost every story that goes straight to our ordering page. So when someone sees a cake they like or some ice cream, they can tap see more, and then all of a sudden, bam, they're on our app or our website making their next order.
That's great. That's great. So I know we're kind of coming up on time here, but just, you know, one or two more questions. I'd love to hear feedback from you, Debbie. What have you sort of learned from your customers throughout all this process? And is there anything that maybe since you learned that you would have done differently looking back?
So what have we learned? We've learned that we are a massive and well-respected part of this community. Like, it's overwhelming. We are a small business. We're a family-run business. It started with my parents, and now myself, my sister, and my husband work here. And the amount of comments we have, even when they're ordering through Flipdish and getting the comments that, thank you so much for opening. I have no way to get any food. I have no family. This is the only way I'm getting fed. Or even from a mum who wrote yesterday, my kids are driving me nuts. They hate my cooking. Thank you for still being open. So many amazing comments and uplifting comments, because the staff, we are all working so much more hours. We're tired, and you see a little comment like that, it just makes you smile, and then all of a sudden you feel a lot better. What we would do different, I don't know. Just stay calm with everything and go with the flow. That's all we can do. There's no predicting this at all. No one's seen this come in. So I think everything we've done up to now, the fact that we have so many loyal customers, you know, right?
That's great. Thank you. And then for Aaron, to you, I would just say, you know, curious, what have you learned from your customers through all of this? And, you know, what sort of advice would you might share with other local businesses about how to persevere through this?
Yeah, I think I have to echo what Debbie said. It's our customers, they care about us. They care about our scoops. They want to see people succeed. They want to make sure everyone's taken care of. And I can't tell you how grateful I am to work for a business where people care that you're a part of the community. Yeah, it's hard to say what I would do differently, because, you know, it's so strange. Everything is so different. But I will say the thing I would say is, if you're gonna go forward with this and you really want to be successful, don't be beholden to who you were. It may not translate to what this new normal is going to be, whatever that turns out to be. We have to think about who we are as a core business, who we are and who we mean to be, and then do that. But don't say, I'm going to throw ice cream in a front yard because that's what we do. We throw ice cream. That's not going to work anymore. But a handwritten note thanking them, just like you would thank them for visiting your store in person, yeah, that's what we can do. So stay as flexible as you possibly can and don't let the shackles of who you were determine who you want to be.
Thanks, Aaron. I really appreciate that. So thank you both to Aaron and Debbie. I really appreciate you both taking time to share about your businesses and your words of encouragement and inspiration. And to all of our audience who's on today, I hope that next time you find yourself in Glasgow or in Austin, Texas, that you will stop in person and pay a visit to our wonderful guests today. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Great, and I'm going to take over from John now. So thanks, Debbie and Aaron, for that. That was really good. I'm just going to talk you through a few marketing tactics and tips that we've seen businesses who have pivoted, seen it work well. The first thing I'm going to show you here is just some Facebook tactics. We've seen, as Debbie spoke about already, the use of Facebook and keeping your customers up to date is so important. So here's just an example of one of our customers who were in Mayo. So what they did is they just, once that initial lockdown happened, they went straight on and just let people know, we're open, come order, just be careful, pay with card if you can, and stick by a few guidelines. And then they just got quite busy one day, so they were like, look, we need to close and take a day off and let our staff rest. So what we did is we just put up a post telling everyone, hey, look, we're closed today, but do come back tomorrow. Then I want to show you here is an example of Totally Thai. They're just a small family-run business who had to shut their dine-in when everything happened. They're based in Warwick in the UK. So what they did is the owner put up just a photo of himself in the restaurant and explained the situation, explained that they, before, were sit-in and now they've had to change. They all live together. They're abiding by social distancing, and they'd really appreciate if you order online. So that just got loads of comments, loads of shares, and loads of engagement, and loads of orders online because of this. So that worked out really well, and it's really great to see a small family-run business like that pivot. So next I'm going to show you the slide. So a lot of people will know this, and some people will be shocked by this, but people say organic is dead. This is true in a lot of cases. So if you have no engagement on your page, your only 0.5% of your followers will see your posts, but there are tips and tricks to get around this, which I'll show you now. So some really important things is to engage, create engagement with those customers. I'm showing you two posts here. One is from Base Wood Fire Pizza, and the other is from Rua Wood Fire Pizza. So two pizza clients there. But what they did is Base put up a lovely colouring competition and just encouraged people who have kids and they're in the office or hanging around, just a colouring competition, get printed out, get your kids to colour it in, throw it up on social media and tag the company. So the more people you have engaging with these posts, the better. And then Rua over here, what they did is they created one of those emoji games and just got people to guess the areas in Dublin. So people were commenting, people were liking, people were tagging friends, and then they gave out a small little prize. The use of hashtags is also really important with using, hashtag support local. So many people are supporting local now, so it's really important. And then no contact delivery as well is quite a big one. A lot of restaurants are working with feeding people on the front line. So if you're doing that, put up a post about it, hashtag feed the heroes. If you're going with that campaign, it's pretty strong and, people are engaging with it. User-generated content. If you have people that tag you in posts, don't be afraid to use it. And you've got a whole bank of imagery out there that you don't have to pay for, but you can just make sure you always ask permission and always credit the original poster. For the most part, people will reshare your posts, and more people will see these than some stock footage. So we find this really good, and it's nice to have your customers engage a bit more. Then another really important part is just your organic and paid ads. So your Google ads, what shows up when you type in your business? Is it your business? And here's a really good example of Now at Home. They've got quite a good organic reach, but what they do is they have brand protection campaigns. So making sure no one else is targeting their keywords and taking their orders that they should be getting when people are searching for their brand. Now, a lot of aggregators and marketplaces will run ads for you, and they will do these, and you may not know it, but you can be careful. You have to be careful about this, because they will, as you can see here, advertise your brand, say, oh, order on this marketplace from this restaurant, but they will have these call outs here which are promoting other businesses that are not your own, and could pull away your customers who intended to order from you away to that third party platform. So just be careful for that with that, and I would recommend asking them to stop. If you ask them to stop, they will stop, and just keep an eye on it. Something we find really effective is, you know, if you have 2 minutes downtime in the afternoon, just Google your business and see what shows up. You should be coming up. If you're not, just make sure people aren't targeting your keywords. And then I'm going to bring you on now to just a bit of basic SEO, nothing too intense, but just if you are pivoting and you're going online for the first time and you haven't done this before, just a few basic things that are really important. Make sure your site is crawlable, crawl accessible. Make sure that Google can read it and everything's safe. Most websites these days are. It's really important. Compelling content. Make sure you have a small bit of content about the business using keywords that are really good and strong, and just promote your business a bit. And you know, if you're selling pizza, make sure you talk about pizza a bit, or if you're selling Thai food, talk about that. And then user experience. With the Flipdish platform, if you're on one of our Elixir sites, you'll have this already, but it's just a handy little tool to keep in there. So yeah, I'm part of the managed marketing department, and so we run all social media marketing, Google advertising, SEO, email marketing. So if you do want to get in touch about any of these, you have my email there. And now I will hand over to Heather.
Thanks, Grace. So I just want to finish off before we jump into the Q&A to just maybe talk a little bit about what to do next. So I think it's really important to plan your next move. So now hopefully you understand a little bit around why it's important to pivot, how you can actually do that pivot, and you've heard those wonderful, great examples from our customers on what they've done. So I'm a kind of big believer in the concept of fail to plan, plan to fail. And it's because random actions will result in random results. So it's really important to think about what you're going to do next and why. So what we're finding here at Flipdish is that generally our customers and people that we're speaking to are falling into one of these three buckets. So perhaps you're currently open, or you're closed, but you're looking to reopen, or your business is kind of closed indefinitely. And depending where you are on that spectrum, there's different things that you're able to do that will still help your business. Now, I'm conscious this slide is quite wordy. Wanted to share as much inspiration as possible, but I'd also love to get us to the Q&A. So maybe just going to focus on one bullet point from each of these buckets. If anyone is curious about anything else that I'm mentioning here and would like to discuss it in more detail, you're more than welcome to reach out to me on help@flipdish.com, and I'd be happy to have a conversation with you on it. So when it comes to currently open, and I think Debbie and Aaron both actually covered this off in their discussion, look, constantly review your hours and tweak them and amend them. So as you're saying, we're seeing lots of folks, maybe if you're traditionally busy at the weekends, perhaps you're closing on a Monday or a Tuesday. It's really important for staff welfare. It's giving the staff some time to rest and recoup. Obviously, our health is so important right now. So working all this endless days wouldn't be the best thing for them. And most places are working on more reduced staffing levels. So this kind of taking a break is really important. Another thing we're seeing people do is we're seeing, since COVID-19 kind of hit, we're seeing a 20% upswing in afternoon orders. So between 3 and 6 p.m. So lots of folks are deciding, instead of maybe doing a 5 to 11, they're in fact doing 4 to 10. And that's actually capitalizing on that kind of change in consumer appetite as well. If you're in the middle bucket, so perhaps you're currently closed, but you're really keen to reopen your business, then I think one of the most powerful but very simple ways you can go about that is really look at your menu and think about how you can use your menu to kind of run operations efficiently and get yourself back open online. So I had a customer who did this really successful. They're a diner. They did have existing takeout and delivery business. So they slimmed down their menu from over 10 sections, you know, maybe over 100 products, to be 5 sections. And within those sections, for example, with their burgers, they went from having 15 different types of burgers to just 4. And they did this across those 5 sections, and that actually allowed them to reopen their store quite quickly. Then the next week, they realized they actually had quite a lot of stock in their freezers. So they put those items on the menu, even though some of them weren't traditional bestsellers, because the options were more limited, they actually flew out for them. And in just before last weekend, kind of again going into Easter, they had lots of chocolate bars, just normally something they would have used in their milkshakes and ice creams. But given both the lovely Irish weather and the fact they don't have as much school kids and walk-ins, they weren't actually able to use all of these. So again, they actually added these to their menu as an option and an add-on. So I think that's just a great way how you can be really strategic with your menu to help with your service and to make it as seamless as possible, and also to kind of protect against any supplier shortages. If perhaps this is your first opportunity to go online, you're coming more from a hotel, cafe, or a restaurant background, really need to think about your online menu is going to be different than what you're offering in-house. So think about it, you know, it's not just from the past to the table. You're thinking about something that needs to be hot and delicious when your customer opens it from a takeout container 30 minutes later. Really looking at the dishes that you're putting on is really important. You could also consider how labor intensive some of your dishes are. So for example, if you do a beautiful brioche pudding, but it takes 48 hours to bake the bread and everything's from scratch, then having something that labor intensive at a time where you're at reduced staffing levels, perhaps that's not the best thing to do. So if you're looking at reopening, a really good place to start is just looking at your menu and being really strategic and really having, quite a lot of thought around what you're offering and why. And the final is, if you're currently closed, it is important, even a lot of countries are in lockdown. Like the feedback we're getting from China is, even though lockdown restrictions are starting to lift, restaurants actually are still remaining closed, as are things like bars and cinemas. So it's quite hard to kind of get a feel for when all of this is over. Now, if you do decide and you are closed, I really kind of believe in the concept, even if you're not working in your business, you should always be working on your business. So the worst thing, like Debbie mentioned earlier on, the power of social media for Monagles to get the word out there. So even if you're closed, that same power in social media exists. So please don't disappear. Still continue to post. Instagram have great features around the questions, where maybe you could throw up a question, when we come back, like what new dishes would you love to see on our menu? You can encourage people to maybe share Throwback Thursday posts, or have you post them when they're posting about the local businesses they would love to support when you're back open. So, it is really important that you keep that presence and you keep working on your business. I'm now going to kind of jump over into a Q&A. So if anyone might have any questions for us and the whole Flipdish team. So I know some actually came in for our customers. So Aaron, are you still on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
Amazing. So Pamela wants to know, to move your catering department to delivery drivers, did you have to work with industry health and safety to ensure safety of the driver and safety of the food by using specialized delivery bags?
That's a really great question. So the one thing that we did is, once the virus started to really take hold in America, we started really stringent sanitation processes. So we were already in every single one of our locations and in our production facility where our delivery service is housed. We started really crazy and very high sanitation practices. And then the drivers themselves were already licensed, already insured. So they were already practicing special delivery special delivery protocols as it was happening already. The thing is, instead of delivering 5,000 ice creams, we're delivering 5. So the only thing that changed was the quantity and the rate in which we went out. But other than that, as soon as a new regulation or new practice or suggestion comes out, either from the CDC or WHO or from our local government, we immediately put those into practice, didn't waste any time so we can keep everyone safe. I will say the hardest part of this process, or one of the hard parts of this process, is delivery bags. All of a sudden, everyone in the entire market needed delivery bags. So we had a stock, and in 1 week it was gone, and we had to replenish we were going through different types of bags constantly because, nobody predicted that an entire city or state or nation would go to delivery and curbside like crazy like this. So one of the things we actually had to do was go to our suppliers and try to formalize and standardize some of our stuff more than we had to do with safety and health regulations.
Brilliant. No, thank you so much for sharing that. And you mentioned about the World Health Organization. Vivian has a question around, have customers communicated any concerns about how food is prepared in store and how closely your business is following COVID protocol?
Absolutely. We get those questions all the time. So the moment the lockdown happened on March 17th, we published a web page on our main website. It's a very top thing that you see on the main navigation that goes over our COVID protocols and social distancing and things of that nature. So like I said, as soon as we get recommendations, we implement them almost in less than 24 hours, including things like masks and things like cleaning. And we wanted to tell people that we're already what we call a culture of clean. So one of the things that really makes our organization stand out is that we have a great service, amazing flavors, and clean stores. And so there was cleaning duties that were done every hour to keep the place spotless. Now they're done every 10 minutes. So it's make an order, clean, 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 make an order, clean, 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 make an order, clean, clean, clean. In fact, we only need really one person on shift at this particular point because we're not making hundreds of ice creams an hour, but we have 2 or 3 people on to keep things clean and sanitized.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing that. Grace, I'll maybe throw this one to you. So it's kind of around marketing tactics. What's the strongest online marketing channel that you've seen for delivery businesses?
At the moment, we're finding both Google Ads and Instagram very strong. For conversions, definitely Instagram at the moment. It can be a bit more expensive, but I'd recommend using it and using your hashtags as well. The problem with Instagram though is if you don't have 10,000 followers and you want to put up an organic post, you have to be careful because it doesn't let you put in a link. So you have to just reference, link in the bio or else use a promoted ad, but really strong.
Yeah, and I've heard that screen time during COVID-19 is up.
Yeah, it's up around 70-80% at the moment. So people are, just scrolling nonstop. So they need something to do with their phone and then they get that idea in their head, which is where most of our orders come from, people getting that idea and then they're like, okay, well, I want to order on Friday, so it's there. So that's what we find is happening.
Yeah, amazing. And Jade had a great question. I know you, Jade, you're directing it to Debbie. Unfortunately, she had to jump off. But other than promoting the business on social media, were there any other measures she was able to put in place to cope with being very busy while maintaining social distancing? So maybe I can speak to some of what I've seen from some other of our customers. So some people with very small premises, they have made the decision to not offer takeout. So you heard kind of Debbie talk about only letting 3 people in at a time and then having a car park area to maintain that 2 meters or 6 feet distance. If that's just not suitable given your premises or your location, some people are choosing to do just delivery only. If you are kind of trying to maintain being busy while the social distancing, we've had some customers really trying to promote off-peak ordering. So trying to get people to order before 6 and after 8. And some of our customers have even used the kind of promo code tools within the Flipdish system to encourage that as well. So that's just kind of trying to, I suppose, flattening out your orders so you're not having quite a busy peak. And another option is, again, as Aaron was kind of mentioning, just all of the safety procedures in store. So whether that's markings on the floor or the screen protectors, it's really important to keep both your staff and your customers safe right now. I'm mindful we're probably unfortunately out of time. Thanks to everybody who asked a question. And I'm just going to throw it back over to Claire to just do a quick wrap up.
Thanks, Heather. Yes, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to everyone who joined us today on our webinar. I would particularly like to thank our customers, Aaron Clay from Amy's Ice Cream over in the US and Debbie Riley from McMonagle's in Glasgow in Scotland. And we would just like to end by saying it's tough out there, stay safe and good luck. And thank you so much for being with us today.